You're watching The Fight Guy, and UFC Seattle kicks off in just about an hour. So I'm going to run through this entire card, give you my full predictions, how I think every fight's going to go. I already know who's going to win every one of these matchups. I don't think I'm going to get a single one of these wrong. And we'll start with the first fight on the early prelims. I'm going to run through this in 10 minutes or less as a reminder. And we'll start with the first fight, which is a female fight, actually a rematch. Alexia Thainara, she's taking on Bruna, Brazil. This is Alexia's only loss, and I think it was pre-UFC because she's 2-0 so far in the UFC. She's looked pretty good for the most part. A lot of people are giving her much flack in her last fight, but she retired Molly Meatball, and for that, I will always thank her. Bruna Brazil, she hasn't impressed me at all in the UFC. She had a cool head kick once. Outside of that, she hasn't shown me much. I think Alexia's grown more in the time since they've last fought, and I think she will have success with the grappling. I think she'll take Bruna Brazil down maybe multiple times and get the finish via ground punches. I think she'll get her out of here with ground and pound. And we'll move on to the next fight, which is a hometown guy, you could say. Ricky, at least he's from the region, at least. Ricky Simón, he's taking on Adrian Yanez. It's going to be a fun fight. Both of these guys are dangerous. Adrian Yanez has a lot of early finishes via knockout, but he was knocked out by the last two ranked opponents he's fought, and Ricky Simón is ranked opponent material. I can't remember if he's ranked right now. If he's not, he's right at the cusp of it. He's got a more valuable resume, Simón does, to me. That loss to Barcelos last year is aging really well. Barcelos seems to be a pretty dangerous bantamweight to a lot of people's surprise at this point in his career. But Adrian Yanez does have good knockout power. He has the ability to find chins early. But Simón, he's tough. He could take some shots. Not saying it's impossible to knock him out, but you're gonna have to chin him a couple times. And really have some IQ to get that finish. I think Ricky Simón, however, will wrestle more than half this fight. I think he'll win a decision. So that's my pick. And we'll move on to the next fight. A big prospect a lot of fans are excited about. Navajo Stirling is taking on Bruno Lopes. We'll start with Bruno Lopes. He's coming off of a brutal round one knockout almost a year ago. I think it was in May to Dustin Jacoby. This will be his third UFC fight in 2 years. I think he's got a decent ground game. He's got some submission wins. I think he's like 5-0 with submissions. But I don't think that's going to be enough against a prospect like Navajo Stirling. Sterling's getting better every time we see him. I believe we got to see some of his grappling and takedown defense tested in his last fight. You know I'm a fan of these city kickboxers, top-notch training partners, coaches. But I still have questions about Sterling, and I'm not 100% confident on his grappling ability. So maybe we'll see that get tested a bit this fight. But I do think he's going to win via knockout. I think he's going to get Bruno Lopes back out of there. We might not see Bruno Lopes for another year after this loss. We'll move on to the next fight. Women's flyweight, Casey O'Neill's taking on Gabriella Fernandes. Start with Casey O'Neill. She didn't fight at all last year. She's won one time in the past 3 years. She is fighting out of Extreme Couture. I'm a fan of that gym. I'm a fan of the fighters out of that gym, but she's not the best grappler, and I have a lot of questions. I'm taking a lot of risk picking Casey O'Neill this fight, so for that reason, I'm going with Gabriella Fernandes. She beat our girl, long time friend of the channel, Wang Kong. But Gabriella's never been finished. She's got solid wins. I think she's got 6 finishes, 3 by knockout, 3 by submission. And she beat our girl Carly Judas from Louisiana. She's a bad bitch. She's 6-2. All of our wins, I believe, are via finish, except for her most recent one, which was very impressive. But she ain't fighting, so we're not going to talk much about her. We'll move on. Like I said, Gabriella Fernandes, I think she'll submit Casey O'Neill. If not, she'll win a decision. We'll move on. Heavyweight bout, Marcin Tybura. A lot of people talking about this one. He's taking on Tyrell Fortune. I think Tyrell's taking this fight on short notice. It's going to be a UFC debut, I think, for him. He did have an impressive run in Bellator, but not a lot of people are a fan of Tyrell for some reason. I think his grappling is going to get tested. I think it's going to be a rude awakening for him into the UFC. He's coming in on short notice. Tybura's had a full camp. He's got solid grappling, a great resume, and he's Polish, so he could take a ton of damage. It's not going to be easy to just get him out of there really quick. Not that it's impossible. I think Tybura will find a submission in the second round. That's my pick. We're 4 minutes, 30 seconds. We're flying through the prelims. And we have my favorite fight on the prelims, my favorite fighter on the card, Chase Hooper. He's taking on Lance Gibson Jr. If you're a casual, if you're new to this sport, Chase Hooper is actually not only the blacker fighter in this matchup, but he's one of the blacker fighters in the entire UFC. I'd be shocked if he walked out without a do-rag on. He's truly more skilled at everywhere. He's got some of my favorite jiu-jitsu in the division. Honestly, it's scrappy, it's crafty, and he knows when to deal ground and pound while transitioning different positions. It's amazing. Most people don't even deal ground and pound when they have a dominant position. Chase Hooper will do it while he's taking your back. It's impressive to watch. He did get chinned pretty bad against Alex Fernandes. That hurt to watch, but I think he'll submit Lance Gibson Jr. Lance hasn't won a fight in the UFC yet. I think this will only be his second one. Bobby beat him. King Green in December. He's Canadian. He's going to get sacrificed. We'll move on to the next fight. Ignacio Bahamondes is taking on Tofiq Musayev. I got Ignacio winning this fight in any way, shape, or form. I could see him winning a decision and just outclassing Tofiq everywhere, testing his chin. I could see him knocking him out in a spectacular fashion, like a spinning heel kick or some Karate Kid shit. Or I could see him submit him, because Ignacio has a great frame for jiu-jitsu, and a lot of people are sleeping on his ground game. He's got great submissions. He's got great capabilities on the ground, and he's fun to watch on the feet. He did take a technical beatdown but from Fiziev at the Azerbaijan card, I think in August of last year. But Tofiq is not the technical fighter that I think it takes to beat somebody like Ignacio Bahamondes. You can't just be a tough, scrappy guy that does something really well. You got to be well-rounded and technical. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Ignacio. Also, Tofiq, his weakness is obviously submission. He's been submitted 4 times. So we'll move on. I think this is second to last fight. Okay, we're wrapping up the prelims. Terrance McKinney's taking on Kyle Nelson. You know the deal with Terrance McKinney fights; they always end in the first round. So you flip a coin. I flipped a coin. It landed on heads. I'm going with Terrance McKinney. I think he'll win this via knockout. The longer this fight goes on, I think there's a better chance that Kyle Nelson outclasses him. But Terrance McKinney, he goes all in. Most people think they have 15 minutes to finish a fight. Terrance McKinney thinks he has 5. So I got him winning via knockout. We'll move on to the middleweight fight. Mansur Abdul-Malik. This is a sleeper fight on the prelims. He's taking on Yousri Belgaroui. I can't say his name right, but he's fought Alex Pereira. He's fought Izzy in Glory Kickboxing before the UFC. He's looked phenomenal in his last fight. I think he's going to win this fight via knockout or decision. Mansur Abdul-Malik, he's got knockout power too, just not nearly as technical. He's going to have to get his wrestling engaged early on. Julian Rosa is taking on Larian Douglas. Julian Rosa, this is another underrated fight in the card. He's a veteran. He's been around for over 10 years. He's been knocked out a lot, just not recently. The longer this fight goes, the better chance I think Julian has to win it. I'm going to go with him to win via decision, but it's very likely he does get chinned early and gets knocked out. We'll move on to the next fight. I think we're on the main. Yeah, we're already on the main card. 7 minutes, 50 seconds. Michael Chiesa is taking on Nico Price. This is a retirement fight. It'd be a win-win-win for everybody, including the fans, if both of these fighters walked away after whatever happens tonight. But Michael Chiesa will probably win via submission. I've never been a fan of this guy. He's never even knocked anybody out. It's like, dude, you gotta have more to your game than just being a really good grappler. Nico Price needs this fight. He's taking it on short notice. He doesn't have a chance in hell to really win this unless he lands an overhand in the first few seconds. He's got too many kids. Can't afford to live. We move on to a women's flyweight fight. Alexia Grasso is taking on Maycee Barber. I like Alexia Grasso. Allegedly, she sells feet pictures to fans on the internet, but I'm not going to judge her for that. I like her more, but she loses this fight. Her jiu-jitsu is getting better every time we see her. She's got great training partners. She trains with Diego Lopes. There's some really talented grapplers in that camp affiliated with him, but I think Maycee Barber wins this fight via decision. We haven't seen her since her last-minute medical pullout versus Erin Blanchfield, but she's got dominant wrestling, not the fun kind to watch. I think she gets the job done. We'll move on to the main event, last fight on the card. Israel Adesanya is taking on Joe Pyfer. This is very much a do-or-die fight for Izzy. He's lost 3 straight, 4 in his past 5. He's the only one to knock out Alex Pereira in the UFC, but yeah, it's Joe Pyfer's a lot more athletic. If he's able to get Israel Adesanya down early and deal damage, then this fight looks a lot different. But I think Israel will keep it standing for the majority of this fight. I don't see him being controlled more than 5 to 7 minutes. I think he punishes Joe Pyfer on the feet. Izzy, I can't even remember the last time he didn't have a 5-round fight. This is Joe Pyfer's second time, and the first time did not look good at all. Not smart with his game plan. He gassed out way too early. His nickname's Body Bags with a Z, which is just fucking, come on, man. You're not making it easy to defend you. He does have a white trash fighter base now. That is promising if you're a Joe Pyfer fan. A lot of ability, a lot of potential. Allegedly, also one of the best bases for MMA. Athletic specimen. Supposedly hits harder than Francis Ngannou. Somehow he is more emotional than Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland, which is a fucking statement. I got Israel Adesanya to win this fight via decision, but there's a good chance Joe Pyfer could submit him or get him out of there early. You really don't know what you're going to get. Roll the dice with Pyfer. And that's why I'm not picking him. I'm going to go with Izzy. I'm happy with either guy winning this, but those are my predictions in 10 minutes. I nailed that on the spot. Let me know below if you disagree with any of my picks and why. And please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I will see you after this card wraps up. Thanks so much for watching.